More like
Rick.
Andy Wynn.
Yeah, I kind of
Hey,
surprised him
everybody.
the other night. Hey, greetings, readers and travelers, and welcome to what is right now the grand finale for the season of Chattin' Stats. My name is Richie Stevens, and joining me today, like sometimes always, not always, like 90% of the time, is my best friend and co-host, Joel Harvey. Joel, how we doing today?
That's me. Let's go. I'm doing good.
I'm
Ready
glad
for
to
this
hear that.
one.
I mean, this was kind of a last minute change where I was like, I'll invite Joel on. I'll see if Joel wants to join us.
Yeah,
So
literally
glad
last.
you're doing well. As well as joining me is I don't know if you guys have been over to Royal Road or not, but there's this kind of like hit what RPG over there going on right now called Stumbling Up by Rec Well. Yeah, well that author is here with us as well. Rec, how we doing tonight?
Hey, doing good. Excited to talk to Craig here. So it's gonna be
It's not
good.
like you guys just talked like a couple weeks ago or anything.
Nah, I mean, different subject, completely different. And you
Completely
weren't
different.
here
Yeah.
at all.
I was there. I was kind of there. I answered a few questions, but that's really about it. So now joining us for the first time, on the actual official show, not Author's Corner, is the man behind the other System Apocalypse series, the first spinoff, which I believe is what, Relentless? That was the
I can't remember who came out first, either me
I
or
think yours did.
Katie.
Yours did.
She finished first though. She got all three of hers out, and I'm still going though. So I'm
That's
working on
good.
book 4. But
But you
yeah,
also have this other series called Rift Warden Academy out.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, so I may or may not have reached out to another guest tonight. This is
Oh,
why I was kind of calling Joel. So I think I should bring them on because that's why we're also talking about Rift Warden Academy. So let's
okay,
see if they turn
okay,
their camera on or anything or their
all
mic.
right.
Let's
Mystery
see
guest.
who
Okay.
is the mystery guest. I don't know, or maybe we can hear them. Maybe we can't.
Oh,
Oh,
you.
and we
Oh,
lost the mystery
Mystery
guest.
guest is like, I'm out. Look
No.
at these losers. I'm out of here.
very too much mystery for the mystery guest.
Well, while we wait for the mystery guest to come back,
All right.
they just messaged me their audio isn't working.
Oh no.
No, I tried. I very much tried. I don't know if they're going to try to join back. We'll wait and see.
All right. We can buy
But
some time.
we can buy some time. So
Well, here I will buy some time by showing off the latest System
ooh,
Apocalypse and short story
Ooh,
anthology, Volume 3, which
oh,
very
has just
cool.
released on Amazon and I think Audible as well.
I was going to
But
say that just came out, didn't it?
yeah, there was a touted a backer kit for it, and I have a short story in there it's set in the future. Well,
In the
the time
feed. Hold
the
on.
no, I was gonna say future, but like it's hard to quantify the System Apocalypse timeline because Tao's finished the main series, so it's the
Right.
future in relation to my stuff at least.
Okay.
It's going to be set after my book 4, um, and it features a scene from the main series as told from my character's perspective. So it was kind of just I'd actually written it trying to get my headspace back into Hal after I wrote Rift Warden Academy because Garrett in Rift Warden Academy is a very different headspace from Hal. So I was trying to get my headspace back for Hal, and so I wrote this, just to kind of get that perspective back. And then Tao was like, "Hey, I'm doing another anthology. You guys got anything?" And I was like, "Well, I got this little thing here. Let me know what you think." So that's how
So
that came to be.
with your anthology or with your series for System Apocalypse, is
hmm
it finished or is it
No, I'm still
okay?
I'm still going. I'm working on book 4 right now. And I'm gonna try to tie up most of my major story threads at least, but probably still leave it open after that.
All right.
It's not going to be an end of Hal by any means, but um,
Let's see if we can get our
oh,
mystery guest
all right,
audio
all right.
working. Possibly.
Hello.
Fingers crossed.
Can you hear me?
I
I
can.
hear
I think we
something.
can.
I hear something.
I think mystery guest should go ahead and turn their camera on so we can see who it is.
Oh, there he is. I recognize that handsome face.
That's why I kind of added some Rift Warden Academy for tonight, and that's what I was
All right.
talking to Joel about. There's no other big announcement. That's it. No, I was like, hey, we're talking Rift Warden Academy. I surprised Rose with Andrea the other night. I was like,
Okay.
I wonder if I
Okay.
could surprise Craig with Steve.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
Steve,
surprised.
welcome in. I figured we got to make the final episode for the season as big as we can,
As big as we can.
Go
as
big
big
or
as we
go
can.
home.
So the most guests we've had on all season
Do, do, do,
for
do, do,
one
do,
concurrent show.
do.
So, welcome in Steve Campbell. For those who don't know who Steve Campbell is,
You're
fantastic
wrong.
audiobook narrator, the voice behind Rift Warden Academy, and a bunch of other good
A
RPGs.
lot of
Definitely go check them out. Like if you're not checking them out, then what the hell is wrong with you? Bless your ear holes with that voice, okay?
Oh my. Oh my.
So before we dive into Rift Warden Academy, we'll focus a little bit more on System Apocalypse. I know when Rec had you on the show, you kind of touched on like what it was like to write in another like universe that's already been created. So you were co-writing this with Tao.
hmm
I want to touch on that just a little bit
Sure.
while we can. When how did you get involved with writing for Tao? Did Tao reach out to you? Did you reach out to Tao? What was the
So
process there?
it was kind of like a random, occurrence. Back when um, Tao was just doing his System Apocalypse. I think Thousand Lee was pretty early on, so it was still relatively early in the universe. The series wasn't completed yet. Um, he had a blog because it was really before a lot of the Facebook groups got really going, and the communities kind of consolidated to Facebook. But I was following Tao's blog, which he also has a lot of good like business stuff for authors and narrators and things like that for the business side of things as well. That's really informative. But he posted an open call for short stories set in the System Apocalypse. So I was like, okay. And I just finished reading a uh, noir anthology of like detective stories that were like sci-fi, and it was the Noir Fatale anthology edited by Larry Correa. So, and when I saw the posting for Tao's announcement for about short stories, I was like, okay, I think I got an idea. And I had this idea of a bounty hunter coming into a small town, getting a quest to hunt down a serial killer. And so that's how I got my start in the universe. Is I wrote the story, submitted it to Tao. We went back and forth with a few, minor edits and cleaning things up, but he liked the story. And so it made the cut for that volume one of that anthology. And so that's how I got my start as a lit RPG writer. And after that anthology came out, the reviews were very, very positive, especially like the Lit RPG podcast. And Ramon had very good things to say about my story. And so Tao was like, well, if you're interested, I'd be willing to co-write a series with you. And so I'm like, sure, let's see what happens. And so that's how A Fistful of Credits came into existence.
Damn good title. Just gotta throw that out there.
Yeah,
I thought it was the mainline story, so I picked it up after I think like book 3 or 4, and I was like, hold on, this is a whole new character, and this isn't Nick Podell. What am I listening to?
Oh, Shaman Casey did a great job with
They did a
that
fantastic
real
job.
gravelly voice of Hal. Because I riff off Western titles for all the books, and so it's basically like Clint Eastwood and meets, the System Apocalypse is kind of how I pictured in my head a little bit.
It works. It absolutely works. Rec, we'll throw it over to you with your question.
Yeah. So, are you reading a lot of noir, or was that just a one-off? Are you primarily a lit RPG reader? What does that look like?
I'm primarily a lit RPG reader these days, but I will branch out.
So we just got lucky that
on,
you read a noir.
Yeah,
right?
I go on kicks every once in a while. I'll get into space opera for a while. I love some Glenn Stewart, and I think it was Space Carrier Avalon. That whole series was fantastic. Starships Mage, and so I bounced around a little bit. I mean, mostly I'd say I'm in the lit RPG uh, almost
Yeah.
exclusively these days,
Yeah.
but I will get an itch for something else. That
So my follow-up question is, have you written like other short stories, or was this just like a one-off? I'll give this a try. Like what made you
um
decide to pull the trigger on that first short
I
story?
I don't know. I just was like, I had this story pop into my head, and I was like, I'm gonna write it, and we'll see what happens. So
Yeah. So just on a whim, you've become a
yeah,
lit RPG writer. That's amazing. Love it.
and
I love it.
then sort of the same thing happened with Rift Forward Academy. I had um, basically I had a dream that was pretty much the first scene where he's fighting a goblin in the woods, and I was like, I gotta write this. This is awesome. And so then I wrote it pretty quick. It was like, I mean, at least for me, not compared to like Sean Oswald or some of those other guys that are pumping out, you know, fast books. But
Book after book
um,
after book after
yeah,
book.
I wish I could write anywhere near a fraction of that, but I just don't have the brain power for that.
That is fair.
But yeah, so Rift Forward Academy, popped out, and I was like, I got to write this. Sorry, Tal, book 4 is getting put on hold.
Well, we're gonna put System Apocalypse on hold too, so we can migrate over to Rift Warden Academy, because I know Joel for a fact has read this book or listened to it. However, I still say audiobooks are reading, and I don't care what anyone says. I'll fight you to
mean, if
the
I
I don't
day.
think
listen to
anybody's
an
gonna argue with
audiobook,
you
I'll say,
here.
like, yeah, I've read that. Like,
I feel like
know what
it's
it says.
technically not reading because it's listening, and I feel like
Yeah.
reading and listening are different skills. But
I'm consuming the.
I also feel like it's still you're still consuming the story, like you said. So I don't have any beef with anybody who prefers audio over reading. It's still you're still engaging with the story. You're still um, you know you want to know what happens next, just like any other reader. But I will technically argue that listening and reading are two different skills.
I'm bad. I hit a button on my mouse immediately and backed out. I hate the mouse.
They might be different, but they are both consumption of book.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So, Joel, let's throw it over to you. I'll let you ask the first question for Rift
Well,
Academy.
why don't
and you can
we
address it.
go ahead for people who haven't read Rift Warden Academy yet? Craig, would you like to give us a little quick synopsis?
So, Rift Warden Academy is about a street rat who makes his living in a post-apocalyptic future where rifts open up all over the world, monsters pour out, and humanity basically gets almost wiped out. The survivors live in isolated city-states, um, and so Garrett, bravely adventures beyond the walls to find relics of past society, of things that have been imbued with the magic that is filtered into the world through these rifts. And on one of these little expeditions he encounters some wardens. They invite him to take part in a challenge to join the academy, and from there it kind of goes into some of the more academy tropes. So I don't want to spoil anything too much, but that's the 10-second summary.
Yeah, it very much plays off of like a street rat who doesn't belong in this academy and is like, sort of has to like prove himself.
The underdog story a little bit.
Yeah,
A little bit with some like social class hierarchy expectations and stigmatisms with where you are in society and what you're capable of doing. Where your station in society means that like you can't ever really rise above where you are. So
Right.
he's fighting an uphill battle even with that. So yeah, there's a lot going on in that one.
Which I honestly really appreciated about it. He had this like undercurrent
Yeah.
of class-based politics and stuff that just kind of amped it up a level.
Yeah, well, I mean, I love a lot of those tropes in the Academy stories, and so I'm a big fan of like Quest Academy and Mark of the Fool and some of those other, um, you know, fun lit RPG stories. Elemental Gatherers by Chris Vines. There's there's a few. I mean, it's Academy stories are definitely a trope in lit RPG, and
That
Mhm.
Brian J. Norton book, whatever,
Yeah.
Quest School or whatever.
I already mentioned that one.
Yeah. I just got to throw shade at Brian just a little bit. If
Yeah,
I don't,
yeah.
then something's wrong.
Yeah.
So, Steve,
Yes.
what was one of your favorite things about narrating Rift Warden Academy?
You know, this one, it was just solid all around. And I think my favorite thing about it was the main character. Just in the fact that he was younger, but he didn't act like an idiot. He was really very solidly consistent, not only in his self-awareness, but in how much work he needed to do, and he put in that time and that effort and that work, which is um, where he excelled. That not to say that he doesn't potentially, I don't know, because I'm not giving away any spoilers because I genuinely, this is speculation on my point. I genuinely don't know. I think that there's something more special about him than we actually are given privy to in the first book. But aside from that, he's not just like a Harry Potter has it a little bit, and then you'll have some other like the hero tropes where because of their heritage or because they were just born with some natural gift, they're automatically better at things than most people. And that's not necessarily the case with him. He's more, he's put in the time and the effort, and every day he gets up, whether he's exhausted or not, and just grinds, right? And so when he's
Yeah.
going to his fitness classes and he has to like, he, by circumstances that are made clear in the plot or whatever, he's not able to have the regular gear, so he has to wear his full armor gear in order to jog, which you're adding a lot of extra pounds and that's going to be extra tiring. And so he did that the first day and it almost killed him, but then he realized, well, damn, I mean, I should be doing this every day. Like it should be something that I'm doing, because if I'm in the real world fighting, I'm going to have to be wearing this kind of armor. So I should be running in this all the time. So he does. Now, did he need to? No, but he was putting in the extra effort. And so consistently throughout the story, as the book progresses, he's always doing that little bit extra, that extra bit of work, that extra bit of research, that extra bit of studying. He's taking the time where he's sacrificing his now so that his future self has a better opportunity. And I really love that about this story. I really love that about this character, because that's not always the way it is. That's certainly not the way I always live my life. And
Right.
so it gives me something to like look up to aspire to want to emulate, in that he's not doing anything extra special other than just showing up for himself and his future self. And so for me, I think that's what really, that's one of the highlights of this story for me, aside from it being a really interesting story. And you can tell even from this first book, Craig gives us hints at like a much deeper plot than just, oh yeah, he's a kid going to school. There's more there, and he teases you with that, not to the point where you're frustrated and you're like, I don't know what's going on, I don't understand, but like so that you know, okay, there's more to this, there's more going on, there's more to this magic system, there's more to these worlds, there's more to these rifts, all of this. So you're intrigued and you want to find out more, but at the same time you're also following along with this character that is actually trying to not just look towards the future and like, okay, I got to get to the end goal. They're working on making themselves better all the way through so that they're prepared and ready for whatever is going to come. And so, sorry if that's not accurate to what you were doing, Craig, but that's what I see.
No, that's no. I don't want to say too much because I did put in a lot of little hints, and I think a lot of people overlooked a lot of them, but some people definitely started picking up on some of the little ones that I put in. So it's,
I feel like it's going to be a book that, like, as the series progresses, people are going to go back and want to reread the first book because there's going to be so much that they're like, oh, you know, and just be like, wow. And I love that. I love that.
Well, I know to get ready for book 2, like as soon as book 2 has a release date, I'm gonna set time aside to reread book 1 so I'm ready for book 2 when it drops
Yeah.
because I need it.
Absolutely.
I need it now. Craig, hey Craig, I need the book.
It's all up here so far. Sorry.
All right, that's
I owe Tal book 4 and Relentless before I get back into Reformed Academy. So I'm gonna that's my
Yeah.
goal is to tie up a lot of the threads in Relentless 4 and then focus on probably books 2 and 3 of Reformed Academy back to back after that.
Is Relentless going to be 4 books, or are you setting it up to?
I'm gonna leave it open. Like I'm not gonna kill off Hal. So
Okay.
he's
Well, I
still
would
gonna
hope
be
not.
around. Like I said, I was saying a little bit. The anthology story is taking place after book 4, so it kind of gives a hint of what's going on with Hal after that.
With the anthology, is it current to where the System Apocalypse book 12 ends, or is it past that?
No, it's so like I said in my short story, it's a mine in the at least in this anthology. I
Mhm.
haven't read all of the other entries in the anthology, so they might bounce around a bit. Um, but mine is taking place. I want to say book 5 in the main series ish.
Okay, so before he
Um,
goes off to do his
yeah,
training.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Okay.
Well, he's it's. I mean, the title of my short story gives away kind of the what's going on. It's called "The Redeemer Returns," but I'll let you
Oh.
infer from what you will. But it's told from Hal's
Ooh.
perspective of the Redeemer Returns. So
All right, I need to go pick up this now. I have some money on Amazon. Be right back. Gotta order this book. Mm.
Do you see yourself continuing to write at least short stories with your character, like as these anthologies keep coming out?
I don't know, maybe like it depends. Like for example, in the second anthology, it doesn't have anything to do with Hal. It has some other. I created like a combat squad of gnomes that I was going to use um uh in my book 3, and the story just kind of took some turns, and I didn't end up using them. But it's basically the opening scene from. I saw the opening scene of the cinematics from Space Marine 2, and I'm like, "This is my short story. Did somebody read my short story?" I mean, because
Just
it's
influencing
literally.
Hollywood, yeah.
Well, yeah, because I mean, it's in Space Marine 2, it's literally Tyranid harpies tearing into a ship, and that's basically that short story for the second anthology is a bunch of gnome combat jump packs specialists fighting in like an orbital reentry situation. So
Now, with going off of what Rex said with like the short stories, is there a character you would like to write a short story for in Rift Warden Academy? And
ooh.
Steve, I'm going to ask if there's a character you would like to see a short story of in Rift Warden
Oh
Academy.
man.
I feel like I've got. I mean, so many of them could have short stories. Even some ones that don't get much of a mention because you've got all the instructors that have histories that are hinted at,
Mhm.
especially Kraus.
I would like to see a short story
Right,
for
yeah.
Kraus, just a little background with them.
Yeah, I do plan on fleshing out some of that in future novels, but the hard thing is, at least in the way I'm currently doing Reformed Academy, it's all first person.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
So like you're only getting Garrett's perspective in Rift Warden Academy. So, it's
Time for some campfire stories and history.
yeah, or something,
Well,
You
I
you
was gonna
gotta
say, go
like
ahead.
there was the part where he does Kraus gives a little history of doing things the old school way of just throwing recruits at rifts and then seeing who ends up surviving.
Mhm.
That I'm not sure if I explicitly said that, but that's kind of what he was hinting at in that scene where he basically throws Garrett at the rift and is like, handle the undead, and I'm here if anything real nasty shows up, and then something real nasty does show up. So
Mhm.
It's kind of hinted at a past where they, threw people at rifts until, either the rift got closed or ran out of bodies. And only the strong survived.
That's fair.
That would be like, I mean, the story is good where it's at, but like the beginning of the riffs and the throw in the bottom, that would be fun. That would be fun.
Well, I mean,
to
the idea for
Like
that world
a
kind of,
different feel from what we get with Rift Warden Academy.
it would be a lot darker.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
trying, I was trying not to go too dark with it, because I did want it to be a little different tone than System Apocalypse, which tends to be fairly dark.
It does get dark.
Especially
It's-
mine. I I had one reviewer say, don't get attached to anybody, and then like they couldn't finish it because it was like anytime they got attached to somebody, they're gone. But like the reason I did that was intentional, because I had the short story version of Hal, who's very dissociated, very detached. Um, like you don't see much emotion from him in the short story. He's very, analytical, get the mission done, but I don't care about anybody else. And so I had to come up with a reason to show why that character ended up at that point. And so, I got him, not only does he start off as a veteran with some PTSD and stuff, but then the stuff he goes through during, the sequence of A Fistful of Credits, um, messes him up a fair amount.
just a smidge, right?
Just a little.
Just
But then that gave me something to work with, is, he gets teamed up with the Countess, and, in that short story, and then books 2 and 3 kind of he meets up with some more people, and becomes a little less of that alcoholic drunk detective kind of stereotype that I was playing into in the short story.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, I don't know how to word this question properly for it to make sense, but I'm gonna try my best. With writing in a first-person perspective, if you were to write it in another character's perspective, would the way they're seeing things line up with how our main character would see it? So, like, say we got the story from Krause's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
The way he's looking at the world, the way he's like, we're seeing it through his eyes. Is it going to be like, obviously the same events are happening, but he's going to act a little bit differently about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, somebody like Krause, like I was saying, has a different outlook. He's going to throw his students into situations where there's a chance they might not survive because.
Are you asking if one like Garrett's being like an honest narrator? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
where
so
he's
yeah.
either intentionally or through his naivete about what's going on, isn't giving us the proper or accurate information about what he's seeing or what he's telling us.
Yes. So,
Okay.
like, what I was trying to go off of was I just finished watching Young Sheldon, and in The Big Bang Theory, we're perceived to think that his dad was a drunk and kind of a piece of shit. But when you watch Young Sheldon, he's actually not. Like, he's a loving father who is working and doing the best that he can. Yeah, he drinks, but he went to war. Like, he's got his demons.
Yeah.
And in the finale, he even says, like, looking back, I may not have remembered my father the way I probably should have, but now that I'm a father myself, like, I can see he did care for us, he did love us, etc. So, like, the perspective on like that character changed. So I was wondering, like, when writing in a first person perspective, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. I don't think I'm really doing too much of that. I am trying to limit how much of the world gets shown based on like Garrett's familiarity with it, though.
Okay.
Because there are clues and social cues that he's not going to pick up on as a street rat who grew up in the outer city versus someone who is more socially adept. and used to the kind of society of things in the inner city. So there is definitely some of that goes on a little bit,
Okay.
but I wouldn't say as far as being like unreliable, or yeah.
Okay. No, that makes sense, and that answers what I was looking for. So
Yeah, and there's also and there are just some general social cues that Garrett does not pick up on, like interest of the fair sex that may or may not be um, interested, or
me too, Garrett. Me too. Like,
Those were some really fun scenes to navigate as a narrator. And I was very grateful that Craig was in there because I was asking him a lot about how to handle certain bits of dialogue. And because it was in first person POV, how completely obtuse is he to what's going on? Because it was very clear in certain instances where this should have gone had he had any kind of awareness of what was being hinted at or what was being, suggested. And he was just like, oh, okay. And it's like you could play that off as like he's not interested, he knows, and he's like trying to shut it down. Or is he just like so in the dark about it that it's like, okay, yeah, sure. So it was a lot of fun to play those scenes when we discussed and knew, like, once I got an idea from Craig about how he wanted to handle that kind of stuff, and he's like, oh yeah, it's going whoa 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 right over him, and I'm like, awesome, okay, good to know.
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
all right.
So tonally, the System Apocalypse and Rift Warden are very different.
Yeah. Like I would say Hal is much more of a nihilist. Like, he throws himself into danger because that's the way the world is, and if he lives or dies, that's
Mhm.
life. Whereas I'd say Garrett sees things a lot more optimistically, and is putting in his effort to ensure the best outcome.
So here's the question: which character do you identify with the most?
Ooh,
Of the two?
ooh, that's tough. That is tough. I would have
Oh.
to say I like there like you put what you know into your writing, especially when you're doing first person. Like, so I'd say there's a little bit of me in both of them. But neither one is all me. So like I definitely don't have Garrett's work ethic as far as, getting up early every day and going to the gym, maybe I should. But like it's tough. Like you see things that and then sometimes you put in characteristics because they'll play into a trope.
Mhm.
And so that's where the fun of some of these characters, building these characters out, and understanding how they differ from your own motivations, makes them more enjoyable to write.
Is there anything that you do that kind of sets you up to write either that more, like the darker book versus the more optimistic
Oh yeah,
outlook?
well that's what I said. That's how I wrote the whole short story for this last System Apocalypse anthology, is because I had to get my head back into Hal's headspace, because it's so darker, so much darker and different. Hal's a much more self-centered character that is in it for the credits, and he's not necessarily doing it for the betterment of society, or just because that's a good thing to do, or the right thing to do, or the honorable thing to do. Like, he's in it for what's in it for me, um, you know what's my angle, kind of thing, even if it's not necessarily a stated what am I getting from this. That's
Mhm.
just how he sees the world and how he interacts with the world. So it's a very different perspective to shift that mindset, especially writing in first person for both of them.
Yeah. Well, and Steve, you have a huge audio library. I'm sure you've had to do that swap too between books where it's very grim and dark, versus the, eternal optimist. How do you handle that when you're going between books too?
It cannot just be with books, it can be with different scenes. You go from one scene to the next and you're like, wait, this is a big tonal shift. How do you navigate that?
I was gonna say there's a few you've done that have done that quite
Yeah.
often.
Yeah. And so, and especially like, even to break it down when you're narrating, you have to switch because you'll have a situation where you're the villain and you've just done some horrible, despicable stuff and you're glorying in it. And then you have to switch over to the person who is victimized and feel all of that pain and hurt, and whether it be abuse or whether it be betrayal or whatever, and then feel that, and then go back into the person who is, happy with how things worked out. And so it it can get pretty dark and hard. There have been a few times when I've had to finish a scene just because I had to finish the scene. And then I had to stop and be like, you know what? I got to take a break for a little bit and just reset, because that was so much emotionally to have to deal with or to go through. But for me, it just comes down to whether it's the scene, whether it's the book, whether it's the character, just trying to be in that moment, to be present. Which is something that I think in real life we have a hard time with, especially now with all of the social media and every, TikTok reel and whatever just comes at you, and you can just passively receive emotions or information or whatever. Being able to just be in a moment and really feel the emotions of that moment and allow yourself to feel that moment. I think that's hard, especially for guys. Guys generally were instructed from a young age to like, knock it off, rub some dirt in it. You want to cry, I'll give you something to cry about. And now that's changing a little bit. And maybe I'm older, and so I had more of that when I was younger than you guys did. But that is something that that I think that more, I appreciate the fact that because I'm more empathetic and I'm okay with sharing my feelings or communicating that stuff, that I want to be able to be an example of that to other people, to be like, it's okay to be in your emotions and to experience those feelings and be honest about them, and then process them and move on, and then, hopefully grow from them. And so for me, I look at all of these books and stories and things that these authors write that are incredible, that I'm like, okay, I really want to give this the space that it needs to breathe, and not just brush it off as just meh, it's just a thing, but allow it to have that emotional impact for myself, so that as I'm having the emotional impact, hopefully when someone listens to that audiobook later on, they're like, oh wow, I'm feeling those emotions. And you know what? This guy's a badass in this book, and he's feeling those emotions. So maybe it's okay for me to feel those emotions too.
Mhm.
Maybe it's okay for me to live in that kind of hard situation or that hard difficulty, and then process it, and then move on. So I appreciate writers like Craig and like Ryan Maxwell, who does it really well in his Grand System Vending. Even James, dealing with some of the horrible things that happen in Discount Dan, right? Like all of these books that all these guys are writing have these great storylines and these great emotional moments, because we see our own lives reflected in an exaggerated and fantastic way in these stories of Lit RPG. And because it's like a lot of them are like progression fantasy, where it's you're progressing not only in your experiences and your abilities, but also in your character development and in your emotions. And so if I can lend weight to that emotional development along with the experiential development, then hopefully I've done my job and allowed people to, for a minute, be okay with being in their emotions. And I've been really grateful to have a lot of people message me and be like, oh my gosh, I just finished such and such a scene. I was bawling my friggin' eyes out. And I'm like, perfect. Because that scene deserved, if you were in that scene, you would be bawling your eyes out. I don't care who you are. Like that, you just lost your best friend. So
You've had me on a few where I've been on the edge of my seat and my heart's almost stopped, and I'm like, oh my God, what is about to happen? Second Chance Swordsman is one of them. So thank you for that. Like just right out the gate, I was like, Steve, what the hell?
Steve Campbell making grown men cry.
He has made me cry a few times.
The power of his voice.
One tear at a time. The thing, the thing that I love about Jacob Tanner, and he writes such inventive stuff. And Second Chance Swordsman, what I really enjoyed about that was the darkness that he put salmon right at the very beginning, right? Like
Mhm.
the opening of him losing everyone when he had already lost so much. And you think, here's a kid who has nothing. And then even the nothing, the little bit that he has in the nothing gets ripped away from him as well.
Yeah.
And even through all of that, he doesn't lose his humanity. And even like with the skill set and the power set that he has, you'd think he would lose his humanity, because that's where it grows, it magnifies, is by him being inhumane in a lot of ways, right? Because he's got a blood ability. And so then he maintains that humanity even to the point where when everything gets wiped out, because it's a regression fantasy, and so the whole world is ending and he's literally dying dead, and then gets pushed back into the past. Now he's on a mission to try and save every possible one, because he knows what it's going to look like and how utterly alone he's going to be if he doesn't. And so that sets him on a path of, I got to be the most powerful. So he has to be ruthless in gaining his abilities, but he also is doing it because he's trying to keep his humanity. And Jacob does a really good job of balancing that, where Sam is continually having to remind himself, and sometimes have his friends remind him of why he's doing this, and having these moments where it's like, oh yeah, I can't just be focused solely on the mission. I have to remind myself of like these moments, these times, and take the breath to be with his friends, to take the breath and, maybe discover a new relationship or whatever, so that he can remember why he's doing this and not lose his own humanity in trying to save humanity. So yeah, my hat's off to Jacob for that.
Such a great
For sure.
series. I absolutely love regression series. So
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
of them are just.
I find it so fascinating. So the one I got to do with Jacob, and then one of the first ones I ever got to do in Lit RPG was the Towers of Heaven with Cameron Milan. And that one was so interesting and so cool to see how going into the past and your knowledge and what you do with that knowledge and how you progress with it is so awesome. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that one was great as both not just a regression, but also as like the tower
Mhm.
climbing kind of trope.
Yeah.
Oh,
So many
we have an
interesting
episode
worlds.
I
planned
go back
for
to
next
that.
year already that Joel's going to freak out about. Is we're going to talk with Daniel Wisniewski
Heard about it.
on regression series. So Steve, we're going to have to bring you in on that one as well. We're going to get like all the audiobook narrators' perspective on this, because it is a hot topic right now. Like we are getting more and more regression series, which we love them. We're going to read them. They're badass. Now, Doug asked a question specifically for Steve, so we're going to throw this over really quickly. And it said, Steve, question. Has an author ever put a scene in that was so impactful that it made you just have to pack up shop for the day?
100%. There's been a few that have been tough, but the one that sticks out immediately in my mind, I'm almost positive that it's public now. I don't know if it was a pen name, and I'm
spoil
trying.
it. Yeah.
No, it's a pen name, so I can't. I'm not sure if I'm able to give away who the pen name is or whatever. But Alex Knowles wrote the Bright Lord series.
Great series. Fantastic series.
In that series, one of the secondary characters, his mom, is just as they're like trying to like rescue her and save her, they get her back, but it's just for a brief time, and then she dies. But she has, just before she dies, she has a moment to talk to her son. And so I had to do that scene, and I did it. I can't remember exactly the timeline, but it was very, very shortly after my mom passed away, my own mom. So now I get emotional even thinking about it, but having to do that scene where he's like desperate, because he's like asking the main character, Titan, save my mom, like do something, save her. And he can't. And so the desperation in this kid's voice when he's like, just save my mom. And then I can't, and the knowledge that he can't. And then the mom being like, it's okay. I want you to stay with him. I want you to do this. And going through that scene, that scene just wrecked me. And I finished that scene, tears streaming down my face, and was like, I'm done, guys. I can't keep going. So that scene was definitely one that wrecked me. I had recently, I did, there's a eulogy at the end of Grand System Vending Book 1 that was very impactful and powerful. And I had read it and knew that it was, when I pre-read it, I knew that it was going to be a big scene. But then when we started reading it, I went to be like, okay, I want to just before I start recording, I just wanted to refresh, and I read the first couple of sentences to myself, and I all of a sudden, Ryan was in the Discord with me live, and I said to Ryan, this character who's doing this eulogy, I said, is it okay if I give them, like, I just feel like they should have like this British accent. I feel like that would lend to the character because he's this mage or whatever. And he's like, yeah, no, for sure. That would totally work. And I says, okay. So I did that. And then I just started reading it. And as I'm reading it, as I was talking about before, being present and in the moment, I'm thinking about what they had just gone through, all the stuff that they had just lost, and how he would be saying this, because it's a eulogy that is also like we will remember them, we will continue on to fight for them, and we will, it's sort of like a call to arms a little bit. And so it could have gone a different way in the way I read it, in like, it could have been this powerful and like, we're going to get these big, and but just the rawness of the emotion. That was, anybody who's listened to me record live knows that I'm lucky if I get through a full sentence before I have to stop and go back and fix what I've done wrong. And that I did that entire eulogy basically in one take, just because I felt the emotion and the realness of what he was doing in that moment, and just put everything I had into it. And it got really emotional. And it was like the second to the last sentence that I choked up so much in it that I couldn't literally finish speaking, and I had to stop, go back and restart that sentence. But that was it. The rest of it was all just one take of just like me really emotionally raw reading that sentence. And I heard a lot of people, including Ryan, that were just like, oh my gosh, I was wrecked. And I was so afraid to listen back to it, because I didn't want to overanalyze and go, forget it. I'm gonna redo it because I don't like it. I sound stupid. I sound dumb. And I'm like, no, I'm just gonna trust it. And then it was actually just about a week or so ago. I can't remember exactly. But it was a long time after I recorded it that I finally was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to that scene. And I listened to the scene and I was like, yeah, I'm good with it. I'm proud of it. I'm happy with it.
It's a damn good scene.
So yeah, I was very happy with that. And I thought Ryan did an excellent job writing it. And so to get to do that, what I felt, I don't get to say that I do a lot of stuff justice. People tell me I do it, but I honestly feel like, oh man, I could have done that so much better. And I feel like that all the time. Even with books that people say they love and that gets rave reviews. And I still listen. I'm like, oh man, I wish I would have done that better. It sucks so bad. And that was the first time that I'd listened to something and I thought, yeah, no, that was good. I'm happy with that. So I'm pleased. So yeah, that's my answer. That those are a couple impactful moments. There's been more, but I could be here all night talking about this stuff for sure.
So I'm going to flip this question back over to Craig and ask Craig, do you have a scene or two that was really emotional for you to write, and or that you had to dial down?
I'll go back to the System Apocalypse books because, like I said, the whole goal of that first book was to explain how Hal became, so dissociated by the time we meet him in the short story. And so really and I hope I'm not spoiling anything for A Fistful of Credits, but really his first real, party, I would say, that is, just people he meets on the street and starts, fighting his way through the city with, and as they get picked off one by one by one, and just watching person after person get ganked by one monster after another. And then there's a big fight where it's because it comes down to just two of them at one point, and it's still pretty early in the book even, but it's a big monster that really nobody has any chance of taking out on their own. And the death of that character was hard to write. I knew I was going to catch some heat for it.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking about when I asked that question. That was tough.
Don't you think though it's like kind of a trope now in lit RPG that, you know, when we have the main character get with his first party, the party's probably not gonna, like, there's a 95% chance the party's not gonna last that original party.
I don't think it's so much of a trope. I think I'd say it's actually the other way around. I feel like most of the time when the main character gets his party, like they're his party from then on. Like I'm thinking like Mark of the Fools, you know, he starts off
Yeah.
with just the hunter, eventually becomes girlfriend slash fiance slash wife, and the Cerberus, and they're with him through the whole story, and then they add, you know, the different other students and things like that. And so it's not to say they don't experience you know, tragedy and things like that, but that main party kind of sticks around the whole time in one way or another. But I think Tao into the main series has a couple that
Mhm.
Tao has some deaths that wreck me.
If I say
Oh,
don't get
man.
attached in any books, it's mainly System Apocalypse, because I got attached to a few characters and Tal was like, "Ha, joke's on you, they're dead."
There was one that really wrecked me, and I don't want to say who it is because if you haven't read that
Well,
series, that
Is
I
it?
mean,
Hold on, I'm trying to remember. Is it the one at the end of book 2?
no, it's later
Okay.
than book 2.
Okay, the one at the end of book
I
2
want to,
really broke me.
yeah, that one's a rough one.
Hmm.
But that also, like, that was like Tao handled that really well. And it also, I can't remember who it was there was something about necromancy I was going to talk about. But that also, you know, it opens up the door to that kind of stuff in the System Apocalypse, and Tao
Yep, I was
kind
gonna
of
say.
answers a lot of those questions because of that situation. But no, I think the one that got me the most was at the end of book 5.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh no.
yeah, that one.
Oh, okay. Yep.
But
Yeah, we
yeah,
don't want to spoil that one because
no,
that one does come out of left field.
yeah.
So, oh damn, I forgot about that. Okay, never mind. I regret asking that question.
Well, I mean, you know, and the thing with System Apocalypse is it's, you know, 60% of humanity dies the first day. You
Yeah.
know, so like it's dark. It is very dark.
Well, it's an
And
apocalypse setting,
yeah.
and when there's apocalypses, there's going to be a lot of loss,
Mhm,
and that's
mhm.
one thing where when you have an apocalypse book, like you're gonna experience loss, and everyone's ready for the zombie apocalypse. So I was like,
I
I'm
feel
not
like
ready
that
to see a
gets
lot of my people die.
yeah, I feel like that gets glazed over in a lot of the apocalypse books is,
Yeah.
you know,
I honestly feel like it's really weird just how many apocalypse series has the party actually like go out like through the series. You're like, we're supposed to be seeing a lot of loss, and these guys are got it covered. Like,
I mean that's the plot armor thing, but um yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
if it was
what you
about the
see
people that
in
died, it'd be pretty short.
Yeah. Very
yeah,
it would be a very short story.
It
Right.
would.
but like,
Yeah.
Especially if it's first person.
That's
just
when
like,
that's when it switches. Or it could be like their book, like it's someone reading the book and like they had wrote a like a memoir or something. Like it's their journal.
This is how we get a slew of standalone apocalypse books.
Yeah.
I'd read it.
I'd read it, yeah.
I mean there's not much progression when you die though is the problem. So that kind of
Well, that's
ruins.
why, you know, it's one of the
You haven't
party
read Stumbling
members.
Up yet.
Yeah.
All right. Fair.
Coming
I
soon.
saw
in a
you
few
had some
months.
nice new cover art for that on display recently though.
Yeah, we got the cover release last week. It's looking good. So
It's always so exciting when you get to
Yeah.
announce
yeah, there we
Look
go.
at that.
the art.
It's my background on my computer, so I stay motivated.
Easy. Yeah.
So we're coming up on our time, and it has been a fantastic year. I don't want to wrap it up just yet, so we'll do another question or so, and then we'll do our hey, what you've been reading, and I'll do the wrap up and the send off. Joel, I'm going to
Yeah.
throw the final question of the season over to you.
All right. Well, I don't know if I really have a question, but I did want to mention because we were talking about scenes that we enjoyed. In Rift War and Apocalypse, one that like always came to mind was during the race.
Mhm.
If you know what I'm talking about, just like the end of the race, they're like, "Man, he really made you work up a sweat, didn't he?" And yeah, that like even now I'm giggling. I just
Yeah.
love that scene.
Yeah.
About the
So
instructor who was supposed to keep a certain pace and then
Yeah.
maybe got a little competitive and didn't keep
yeah,
the pace. Yes. I had a lot of fun writing those characters. I mean, some of those are I don't know how many of you guys know this, but I spent a few years at the U.S. Naval Academy, so I have some of those academy memories to draw on, and there were some instructors that I may have pulled some of those more sadistic memories from.
All right,
Mhm.
Steve, you got a thought on that
That-
scene?
like
That was I do remember that. It was hilarious because he was like trying to play it off like, oh, this wasn't a big deal and I'm totally fine. And yet, sweat's pouring off him and they're like, this is the first time you've ever sweat and I don't even know how long. And then, the headmistress was like, yeah, we're gonna have a talk later on about how you magically somehow finished this race, 10 minutes earlier than what you were supposed to. I can't remember the exact time.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact time either, but the pace was off.
Yeah. And it was like,
'Cause-
uh-huh. And he's playing it off like it was no big deal or whatever. And, yeah, that was it was a funny bit. And I liked how but that's what I like about what Craig was able to do with these characters is humanize them. And it wasn't that he was so unbelievably amazing that he was, like beating everyone. He still
Yeah.
didn't beat the instructor, but the instructor had to work effing hard to make it there before him, and he felt like, oh, I didn't make it. And he was kind of, Garrett was down on himself a little bit because he didn't, beat the instructor, and yet he was never going to beat the instructor because the instructor was not having that, but had to kill himself in order to make sure that didn't happen. So yeah, it's part of what I love about what Craig did with these characters in that series.
Right. Any last comments before I start wrapping it up?
There was one thing I was going to, when Steve was talking about, some of the reviews and what people say about different things. There's
Mhm.
one review that Reformed Academy got that I think has been my favorite. Somebody called it competence porn, and that has been my favorite review for that book. It just makes me laugh every time I think of it.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is we need to get that review framed for you so you can put it in the office. Got it.
Actually, I'll second that because I read books like the Rift Warden Academy when I am like need to get a bunch of work done. Like I got like kick out 20 chapters this week. I'll put something
is
like
that
that
why
on the
I love
background.
progression
Like,
series?
I got to be
so much?
competent.
It's just competence porn.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if they're fixing their mistakes and not making the mistakes, that's
Or more importantly, learning from their mistakes and
yeah.
doing better. Yeah.
Casey in the comments says all my favorite characters are the ones that handle their business. Like, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't love a good like main character that just puts belt to ass and is hard focus? Because that is the exact opposite of me. I try to hyper focus anymore, and it's hard.
But what's beautiful about Garrett in that is he's competent, but he's not arrogant about it, right? Like he doesn't come from it from a perspective of like, I'm better than everyone. I'm gonna mow everybody over. He's
I don't
humble.
even think he sees himself as competent. Like I think he just
I know,
sees
like,
himself as getting the work done.
yeah, he puts in the grind. He puts his nose to the grindstone and just goes. Which is a horrible visual now that I think about it, putting your nose to a grindstone. That's, oh my gosh, can you imagine the pain that would put you through? But,
I
but
wonder where that phrase. There's got to be.
yeah, like
What is that? I mean, obviously it means bending over the grindstone.
just
but
hanging over. Yeah.
So
But even that's
one
not a good
arrogant
idea
knight just
because the
means-
No.
sparks coming off of it could go up your nose, and depending on which way that grindstone.
We can
is
ask
rolling.
Jess that question if he's ever had like a spark go up his nose while he's blacksmithing.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's actually been a thing.
Well, it
we know
depends on
some
which way.
blacksmiths.
Usually the grindstone, it rotates down so that the sparks aren't going up.
yeah.
But it depends on which way you're putting your blade though, because if you have it going down and you have your blade against it like this, all your sparks would be hitting the edge of your blade, or the flat of your blade, and then hitting your knife, and that would be horrible.
And that's why on Forged in Fire they say professional blacksmiths don't try this at home.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we know a couple of blacksmiths in Lit RPG who have definitely done their work. So now we got questions for Lit
I
RPG.
think
coming.
Ren was on Forged in Fire.
I think Ren was.
Yeah.
I think we need a panel of blacksmiths.
I will message Geneva right now and be like, hey,
Yeah. All the authors attend it to blacksmith questions answered.
this one is specifically for people who want to get the crafting materials in their books. If you want to add a crafter, here you go. Let's ask the actual blacksmiths.
Ask Brian Norden.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to. He scares me.
All the blacksmiths are scary though.
I don't think Brian's actually a blacksmith. I'm just joking that his is the crafting book.
That's true.
My
There we go.
my stepdad builds knives, like actually like hunting knives, all different kinds of knives, and has a whole shop and set up for doing that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've learned a little bit about how to do that, but he started into that a little bit late. So by the time he started making knives, I had moved out of the house, out of the town. So I only get to see a little bit of it, but
Well, that's like all the smiths on Forged in Fire. They come on
Yeah.
and like, I was whatever for 40 years and then I retired and started knife smithing, and you're just
Yeah.
like, and it's, some old guy that you would not want to meet in a dark alley.
yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping us up. And I just want to first start off by saying thank you. Thank you to everyone who has tuned in to make another amazing year for Chattin Stats. We want to thank Rec for officially joining the channel as our other host. So
Yay.
next year you're going to be seeing a weird combination of Joel and I, Rec and Joel. Like it's going to be a whole new season next year. We will be taking a little bit of a break unless we do have our emergency episode I have set aside for one specific narrator, because we tried to get her on all year and timing has just never worked out. So we're waiting to see. But
I've got the busy bard on the author's corner.
Yes, we do have that.
Yeah, next Tuesday. So
on the
yeah,
16th,
check for that one. Yep.
8 p.m.
It
Right?
should be 8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Well, it's not the 16th, it's the 23rd.
Oh, the 23rd, right before Christmas.
23rd. Yeah.
I thought we had one on the 16th as well, unless I misread the schedule.
I'm with Pop on the 23rd.
That's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Hold on. Wait a minute.
I mean, he's kind of my
Thanks,
favorite
Casey.
too. And he's gone.
Rude.
She's out of here. Sorry.
Damn, well, I guess I can pass the channel over now and I can officially focus on other things.
Like
Well,
Phoenix.
Well, I mean, if Matt doesn't fucking slow down. Yeah, that's another thing. I got to thank Matt Denman for officially featuring my foot in the Kickstarter. That was kind of neat. It's been a weird year for me. I don't
I
like
heard
it.
you got a cast of your foot. There's gummies or something. No.
That'd be news to me.
just going to create some wild rumors.
Remember what they were doing to me at the hospital when I was like
Yeah,
zooming
when you
in?
were like sleeping, snoring, Joel and I were casting your foot. And
Okay, that makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
That
sense.
explains a lot.
yeah,
Hey, the last night at Lit RPG Con was wild for me because ER visit was
yeah.
great.
Let's
That's
not
wild.
repeat
Me
that
too.
at this coming con.
I know which
No hospital
place I'm
visits.
going to avoid.
I'm just saying,
So-
next time I'm stuck in a hospital with you snoring, Joel and I are just going to live stream talking the
That's
last 10
fine. I'm
years of
surprised you guys
RPG.
didn't do it to begin with.
Yeah,
Started writing stuff on his face, to be
yeah.
honest.
I mean, that works too. We can live stream that too. User comments. What do you want?
Oh my god, that's gonna be best one I'll get a tattoo of. But we have a lot of very fun stuff planned next year for Chattin Stats. We have a couple of launch parties planned. One specific in February, so that one's going to be pretty exciting. We do have we're hoping to bring back the cold reads between Jess and I. We had a lot of fun doing that. Rex got the author's corner, and I'm sure there's already stuff being scheduled into next year. I'm waiting to receive that schedule.
Yeah.
We got authors galore.
We'll get a schedule at some point.
Yeah, it's fine.
When I know, you'll know.
And then also we have cons. Joel and I will be at Jordan Con. I believe Rec, you will be
I'll be
there
at Jordan
as
Con.
well.
Yep.
And then also, of course, we have Lit RPG Con. My goal is to try to get to Dragonsteel Con next year as well because I really want to go.
I saw the stuff coming out of Dragonsteel. It looked awesome.
It looked like a lot of fun, and if I can go harass Matt Denneman at another convention, I'm going to because I have a lot of payback.
True.
In a loving way, not in a threatening way for legal reasons, obviously. But I just, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much. It has been a great year for us, and we hope to continue that next year.
And I know all of us authors appreciate the chance to come on and talk about our books. So thank you for all the effort that you put into the show. You know, all three of you, Richie, Joel, and Rec. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, Craig.
And the same goes for the narrators because we love having you guys on as well. We can't not exclude the narrators, Craig.
Yeah, well, no, he was trying to represent
you guys running the show.
Thank
you know, I was, yeah.
And as narrators, we just kind of put up with you guys, so it's okay.
It's obvious who the cool cats of the genre are.
Yeah. But I mean, the genre is expanding. You know, we have a lot of different shows out there now between the Another Worlds podcast, Long-Winded Ones show, and then of course the Rec and Pop Pop show, because we got to give Pop Pop a shout out. He is the boomer of Lit RPG, and we love him. He's no longer banned from the channel.
He brings the boom to Lit RPG,
and we bring the cookies for him. So
right.
Now, we hope to see everyone at the cons next year. I know at Lit RPG Con, I'm going to be driving out, so Joel and I can actually do a live show from there without using our phones. I'm going to bring my laptop and our interfaces so we can have our mics going.
Nice.
I feel like that's going to be a good time. But yeah, this has been a great year. So to finish off the year, we're going to do our final, hey, what you been reading for the year? Now, this one might be a little bit harder for Steve and mainly for Steve because there's probably some projects that you're working on that you're not allowed to tell us about. That's okay. That's okay. But we'll kick it over to you to start it off with, hey, Steve, what you been reading?
Well, I am continuing to do the Dungeon Crawler Carl rabbit hole with my son. So whenever we're hanging out together, that's what we're listening to. And my other son and I have been slowly going through the hours and hours and hours of the last book in the Stormlight Archives. I want to say it's Wind of Truth. Is that right?
Yes, because Winds of Winter is the one that's not out yet.
And then in my short list of, I have about 5 different books that I'm trying to jump around in because I'm just enjoying so many things and having a hard time getting through all of them. But I have downloaded the book 5 of Beware of Chicken, which I'm very much loving that series. And I downloaded Warborn by DJ Glasscock. because my good buddy Mike Johnson and Sarah Puckett are narrating that series, and I was like, I got to check that out.
Shout out,
So,
Mike.
and then there was one other one that I was in the middle of, but it's not Let Her Be Chi, and it's not popping up in my
That's
series.
fine.
So, but yeah, that's it's called Man Fuck This House. By don't start, just give me the details.
What a title.
Hold on.
Man, comma, fuck this house. And Other Disasters by Brian Assman. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's Asman. It's fantasy horror they're short stories, and there's a whole bunch of different narrators that have been involved in that series, a bunch of them that I'm good friends with, and so I had to download it and check it out. So Matt Godfrey's in it, James Anderson Foster, Andrew. Why do you keep leaving? Joe Hempel, Andrew Gibson, Jen Lee, Zara Johnson, and Ray Porter. So
Shout out Ray Porter.
So yeah, that's been one that I kind of been jumping back and forth in, and this is the problem, is that I never have time because I'm always recording a book and prepping the next book that I'm supposed to be doing as I'm going along. So there's always this stuff that I'm currently like, we're working on Grand System Bending 2 right now. Discount Dan is going to be right up after that. I also have Industrial Strength Magic 3 that's coming up right after that. I have Second Chance Swordsman 6 that we're going to be doing, I'm sure, in the very near future. And then Cameron Milan's Collect the World 2 is also on my docket to be done at some point. I don't even know my schedule. I just trust my schedulers to be like telling me what to do when I'm supposed to do it. I just got a new series that I'm supposed to pick up from Mountaindale Press, and I don't know that anything's been announced on that, so I don't think I can say anything more than that. But yeah, that was thrown into my schedule as well, and I think they said something about maybe May. So yeah, there's a lot in there, and I'm excited for it because it's awesome. I'm so lucky.
I'm not going to say anything. So, I will say Dakota Kraut has a thing where he normally releases like 3 books at the beginning of each year, like by month, and then he'll like wait a year and then like release 3 more books to like a random ass series. Like we had I don't know. I could just be going off on a limb there. So
are you expecting me to respond to that?
No,
Because
okay. Not at all.
We're gauging your poker face, Steve.
Yeah. Let's see. Can we break Steve?
I'm just brainstorming on what could or could not be to get the hype train rolling.
You never know with Dakota Kraut.
I was gonna say, yeah, you don't with him. It's insane.
All right, Craig, what have you been reading?
Some of my recent reads, the latest Quest Academy, Unintended Cultivator, David North's Wild Era.
So good.
That's one you should definitely check out, Joel.
Oh, cool.
It's narrated by Neil Ellikers.
Next up on my list, I think, is Wish Upon the Stars. It's sort of a superhero sort of cultivation progression fantasy. I really enjoy it. But I think book 10 I think this is book 10 that just came out. So it's up next in my TBR.
Right.
But then I mentioned I get sidetracked sometimes. I just saw that War Horses has a new release. So that's one of the, I have a soft spot for mech stories as well. So I think Scott Warren's War Horses series. It's legally distinct BattleTech.
Okay.
But this is book 6. It looks like it's coming out in January, so not quite yet. But
you got some time.
Yeah, I got some time to get through the rest of my TBR. But that's that War Horses series is really good if you like, big giant stompy walking tanks. Not progression fantasy, but yeah.
I like Armored Core, so
yeah, there you go.
Dude, there are so many series, like ongoing series, that are releasing books in like December, early January, and I'm like,
Well, that was the beginning of November for me because you had like Quest Academy and there were like a bunch of others that all hit like I feel like that week.
Yeah. There's a reason we have a never-ending TBR,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we appreciate it. But also, holy shit, give me a minute to catch up.
And it's like every time you look away, there's like 3 more books in that series to read.
Oh, I took a break from Lit RPG for a few books, but I'll talk about that in a second. Rec, we'll throw it over to you. What you been
Yeah,
reading,
I'm reading. So I just finished Dark Lord of Crafting.
William Merle?
Yeah, and I'm reading Doomed and Damned by the Busy Bard. It's
Okay.
on Railroad right now, so that's never ending, never ending read. And I've got Rise from Ruin by Melissa Olthoff. I've got her
It
scheduled in
is so
January.
good.
Yeah, I'm
It
excited
is
about
so
this
good.
one. Yeah, so it's got a few books there. I need to get caught up on Doug's series. So Elsewhere, that one I think I think I'm like 2 books behind. So Doug, you got to stop reading or writing so I can get caught up.
I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Casey's on point because Rise and Ruin is.
Yeah.
Rise from Ruin is so goddamn good. I cannot.
Yeah, I'm excited to dig in that one. I've got Plague of Magic on the deck too. So
That is the one I am missing from the Feral Squad. That's the only book I'm missing from them.
So maybe you can read
And
that
I
with
need-
me in January, Richie.
I will definitely do that one with you.
Yeah, it'll be fun,
Plus, I get to talk to my BFF Melissa. Absolutely.
right?
All right. Hey, Joel,
Yeah.
my man.
Uh,
What you been reading,
so
buddy?
last on we had Boslow. So since then I've read A Clockwork Ogre. It was phenomenal. Really good. What?
Oh, fucking Casey. What the fuck did I do?
Oh,
I said I'm just missing one. I've read your book.
I read a series, Root of All Evil.
It's so good.
It's so good, dude. Other than that, not all the skills. Skill Eater book 2 came out. Phenomenal read. I loved book 1. And yeah. There's, like I said, there's so many new books coming out in December. World Sphere book 2 is coming out. Really hyped about that. Defiance of the Fall has a new book coming out. Hyped about that.
Got Primal Hunter.
Yeah. So many.
There's a lot.
So many. But yeah, that's what I'll be reading next, I think. So Rich, what you been reading?
Oh God. So I did finish Clockwork Ogre from Boslow because I needed to read that second book as soon as it came out. I re-listened to Aragon because I was feeling like a kid again and I wanted to go back and re-listen to one of my favorite series. So I picked up all the books on the Audible sale because I'm irresponsible with money. I recently just read.
You could be doing drugs. I mean, just look at it that way.
True, and that's what I told my mom. She's like, "Why are you buying so many books?" I was like, "I could be doing drugs." I recently just finished Red Rising from Pierce Brown, so not Lit RPG, but a damn good book. And now I got to start Morningstar, which is book 2. Also, Empire of Silence by Christopher Ruccio, I think is how you pronounce the last name. I'm not 100% sure, so I do apologize to the sci-fi and epic fantasy genre if I butchered that name. What else? Oh, Heavens Reflected, which is book 3 in the Heavenly Chaos series from Daniel Shinhofen. Finished that one. And my current read right now is Dodge Tank, book 1 in Crystal Shards Online by Rick Scott.
I'm so glad you're reading that one.
That's an OG call.
That is an OG.
An old one.
Well, I've read Path of the Berserker, but I apparently had never read Crystal Shards Online. So
yeah, I'm excited to reading that one.
Rick and I were talking about it the other day, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna check this one out. So I've been listening to it, and it is fantastic.
It is. It was. It's. That's That was one of the early like lit RPG classics.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah,
reading
it was one of my
2018.
favorites way back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
back like
It's
when not long after like the land made it big, and
yeah.
System Apocalypse, Awaken Online, um,
Yeah.
Ascend Online, a lot of those, right
All
about
those
that wave.
onlines. Yeah.
I
There's
think
a
Rick
lot
Scott
of
is he's one of my like I want him on the podcast next year.
I'll work on it.
Yeah.
I've interacted with him a few times on Facebook, and now I'm like, okay, now I got to send the professional message real quick. Hold on.
Yeah.
So I'll see what I can work there. But yeah, that's what I've been reading, and it's been a damn good year. Oh, also, Stumbling Up by Reckwell. I've been.
Well, you better be.
Yeah, if
I
you're not
have
reading
to-
it, we've got a problem.
Yeah, I have to read that one because since I am kind of narrating that one, I kind of have to read it. At least like 95% of it.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
So the parts that Jessica is narrating, I don't have to read. I mean, I still have to read them because I have to know when they're coming in. But yeah, that's my list. It's been a pretty solid freaking year.
It's awesome.
So, but once again, thank you everyone for tuning in. This has been a fantastic year for stats, and also our final guest of the year, Craig Hamilton, and our mystery guest, Steve Campbell, which was a total whim, by the way. I just thought of it like, when did I message you today, Steve, at like 2:00?
You're not supposed to tell people that.
Yeah, I mean,
You're
hey,
supposed to just be smooth.
You're ruining the
Yeah.
mystery of the mystery guest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
Richie, you're supposed to make people think that you have these powers to make things happen by talking to people.
I have,
And that you've
I use
been
my
planning
magic
it
for
for a
evil.
long time.
I use my magic for evil, okay, or good, whatever you want to look at it. But I just like to give some of my favorite audiobook narrators the praise they deserve. So judge me on that one.
Why would I judge you? Steve's amazing.
I know, and that's why I reached out
He
to him. And I was
needs
like,
to
hey,
hear that more often too.
but I didn't want to tell you, and I was like, "Ooh, okay, I'm gonna have Steve join right as we go live, so that way he's not waiting down there." Because I didn't know if you'd be able to see him down there or not.
No, I can.
'Cause
only,
I can see everyone.
I can only see me in the
Okay.
the very
Beautiful.
bottom.
Yeah. And I purposefully, because this isn't the first time I've done a mystery guest appearance for an author. And so I know to like change my name and keep my camera off so that while I'm in the green room, just in case, nobody knows who I am.
Well, I'm glad I didn't let it slip
did
until
really
you
good.
joined back because I was like, "Oh, do I say that?" Oh, it was gonna be Steve. But
I had a feeling once you said it was a mystery guest. I had an inkling. I was like, "We'll wait and see what the voice sounds
Because
like." But
Craig, were you there in the audience on the one mystery guest that I popped in on Ryan?
No,
Were
I
you
don't
there?
think I was. I don't think I made it for that show.
There was another author that I worked with that was in, maybe it was James Hunter, but I popped in on the podcast and I thought it was you that made some comment about it or something, but maybe I'm wrong.
No?
You're just always in the forefront of my mind, and that's why I just assumed it was you.
Well,
So,
I am that amazing, right?
well,
I mean, I'm
yeah,
always
that, and it's me going, when the fuck is he going to write that second book? I
No,
want to get
no.
one in the Academy.
I promise I'll get to it someday. I will let you know when I have something.
Yeah. No, you have no stress from me. I'm just excited to get back into that world because I thought it was
Me
so
too.
cool.
I have
and I love that
so
character,
many
so,
ideas.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
many
no.
little plot threads to pull on.
Well, before we dive back into another conversation, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Everyone, once again, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you have an amazing holiday season and a happy new year. And we look forward to seeing you guys in January.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.